Joining me now is independent senator from Maine and member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Senator Angus King. Senator, thanks for joining me. Let me first get to what your colleague Mark Udall was saying today. Do you think John Brennan should resign?
You know, Alex, I don't really think that's the issue. I'm not ready to call for his resignation. He's a guy that has served his country well for a long time. I'm more focused on what the report actually says and what lessons we take from it, and that we not repeat this experience. I think that's really where we need to keep the focus. And as you say, the real debate, and I think it's an important one, is do these tactics work? And to me, the overwhelming weight of the evidence is that they don't. And that comes not only from the report itself, but from people that I have been in touch with who are professional interrogators, Air Force, Army, FBI, CIA, who say more often than not you get bad information and you aren't going to get the information that's going to be really essential. And this report, the guts of this report for almost 500 pages, is taking apart in incredible detail each one of these allegations of how it worked, and then documenting that the information was generally already available. The CIA already had it, or the FBI had it. And it's not the program. This is important, Alex, because you're going to hear the defenders talk about how the detention program bore results. It's true, it did. Having people interrogated was an important part of what we learned about al-Qaeda. The question is, does the torture work? And that's really what this discussion is about. And I think the overwhelming evidence is that it doesn't. And that's why we need to have this debate, so we don't get back into this stain on our country a second time.
Well, to that end, in terms of the debate, a huge moment of clarity might come if anybody saw a copy of the Panetta report. We know that that is the CIA's internal document that comes to many of the same conclusions that the Senate Intelligence report came to. Senator Udall read parts of that today. Should it be released to the public?
I think it should. I think the CIA owes it to the public to release that document. That was their own review. They can redact it to be sure that they're not national security implications. But I think that would be an important part of the public record. Right now we have the Senate report, which is incredibly detailed. We also have the CIA's own response, and then we have some of the Republicans on the committee issued their additional views. But here's a key point, Alex. On this question of did it work, for years the CIA said it worked, and they made all these assertions about how effective it was and it saved lives and everything else. When we gave them our report to review last year and said, what is your response? You know what? They came back and said, well, whether or not it worked is unknowable. That's the term they used. So it migrated from certainty to unknowable. And I think that speaks volumes. And these people that are now coming out and saying how well it worked, they're trying to defend the indefensible.
Well, Senator, that's exactly the position in reverse that John Brennan has had. You know, last year when he was getting confirmed, it was, I don't know if this worked, and now it is with certitude it worked. I mean, you talk about this never happening again, and given the sort of fungibility of the results here, how is the American public to have any confidence that this won't happen again?
Well, again, I think we need to talk about legislative solutions, although, you know, we're already a subscriber to the International Treaty Against Torture, which we led in the 1980s and 1990s, which basically defines it and says it's never appropriate under any circumstances, and I think we violated that treaty. But there are two really upsetting things aside from the torture itself. The second is that the CIA and many of their officials, I believe, misled the President Bush. They misled their own Justice Department. They misled their own Inspector General. They misled the Congress. And that, in turn, raises a question for me as a member of the Intelligence Committee. How do I believe them the next time?
Well, given that mendacity, do you think there should be prosecutions?
Well, again, I'm not sure that would serve any purpose. I think it would be very difficult because of, you know, all the national security implications. I'm not into looking backwards on this in terms of prosecuting or that kind of thing. I think the important thing is let's, on the larger scale, define what happened, and I think the Senate report does a good job of that, and that we not do this again, that it doesn't work. And you know, you're going to have people on your program that are going to say it works, it works, it works. Your follow-up question would be, so, okay, do you think that's what we should do in the future? Because that's, in effect, what they're saying, and I don't think that's what America's all about.
Senator Angus King, always good to see you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Alex.